Hey. Today we're gonna be drilling into this millet field. We got it cut and baled, and I'm gonna be putting in some winter rye. But first, I gotta pump a tire on the 7215. It's a little bit low, it's not bad. And then I gotta fill the drill with the seed, which is sitting right here. So I'm gonna get working. I put 20 bags of seed in the drill, and I'm gonna pick up these bags quick, and then I'm gonna throw a couple more in the tractor just in case I run out, but I won't be too far away. And then I should be ready to go. I'll just have to fold it up, hop in the tractor, and get going. All right, so I got my 2 extra bags of seed, and I'm full, I'm ready to go. I'm headed to the field. The field is right here, but it's a little wet in there, and so I'm gonna go around it and come through the east gate, and then we're gonna get started on that north side because it looks like I can make complete passes without having to turn, and so it'll be a good spot to get my AB line set, and it'll help me get kind of situated. I can get the drill set and have everything ready to go there. So driving by this field, you know, this is where I normally drive through. You can see there's a lot that isn't cut. We just baled this yesterday, I think, and moved the bales off this morning. That's what Dad was doing while I was driving back from Brookings. And so there's a lot of spots in here that never dried up, and we bought enough seed to do the whole thing, thinking that it'd dry up in August, but that never happened because it just kept raining. So we have a little bit extra seed. I didn't put all of it in, and so hopefully I don't have to run back to the shed and put some more in. But once I get going here and I got the AB line set and I got the depth set to where I'd like it to be, I'll talk about what our plan is with this, what is it, winter rye. And so I'm looking at my slot. This ground's pretty hard here, but it looks like it's a pretty decent depth. I forgot earlier, you know how I was saying we got a lot of extra seed. Dad and I decided, there's a lot of mosquitoes. Dad and I decided to open up the slots a little bit to just to have a little bit higher population. Didn't think it hurt anything. I went to open the slot more, but it looked like we have the slot basically all the way open because, oh, I left the tractor door open. Now all these skeeters are in here. And the slot's open really wide. Well, that ain't good. And the slot's open really wide because our seeds per acre, no, our pounds per acre is at 69, 70, right in that range, which is quite a bit. Seems like my depth is good, and I couldn't open the slots anymore, so we're just gonna get going here. On this north side, there's a few trees that I gotta dodge, but it's not too big of a deal. And so I'll get my AB line set, and then it'll be smooth sailing for a while, but then I'll start getting into some wet areas over towards the south side. Now that I got my first pass done, I'm gonna hit this button, which will slide my AB line back towards the trees a little bit, because as I went along those trees, they kind of came out and I came back in. So if I went with the current AB line, there'd probably be some spots where it wouldn't fill in. So I'm just gonna slide over a few inches and then hit go. I'll get going, and there'll be a little bit of overlap, but that's way better than having a blank spot. I think my dad said we got about 22 bales off here, which is, you know, it's about 1.3 bales to the acre, something in there. And so that'll be some good feed. It served a good purpose. We got You know, that cover crop gave us some bales, it gave us some ground cover, good for the soil, and it suppressed weeds. And then now we're putting in this winter rye, and it's actually not just winter rye, it's a mix of a couple other things. I actually don't remember what they were, but the biggest percentage of seed in there is winter rye. And so the idea with that stuff is that, well, it's gonna start growing right now. It's gonna keep providing some good soil health benefits. And then when we put our cows out here, because this is where we calve, this is a big calving pasture, it'll green up, and it'll give the cows a little bit of stuff to graze in the winter. What we're most excited about is next spring when it starts coming back up. We'll have something growing in here, and it'll be a lot healthier for the calves. The biggest thing I'm excited about, honestly, is that we'll have roots growing in the ground, and it'll hold the soil together, because when we get into springtime and we're calving and we're driving tractors out here, it ruts up really bad because there's no roots, nothing to hold the soil together. And so hopefully that'll help. And another thing is, when the grass finally starts greening up, the cows really start working the fence lines, because there's green grass growing in there, but there's nothing growing in here. And so hopefully it'll take some pressure off the fences as well. We got a lot of positive things coming out of this winter rye. And that's gonna be, I think, the first time we've ever tried putting a winter grass in here that'll come up early in the spring. And so hopefully that'll work out for our benefit. So it's a good thing I hopped out. I came out to, well, move the camera for one, but I also needed to change the depth because it was a little too shallow. Actually, it was a little too deep, I mean. And so I adjusted that, and I came out here, and I saw that tube wasn't on. And that's the reason it's not on very good is, well, that's the one we take off when we calibrate it and get the right rate. And so we must not have put it back on very good, but I'm gonna try to slap that back up. Well, it looks like I need pliers to get this back up. And so I'm gonna drill back to the house, and it should stay on long enough to get back there. And then I'll get a pliers, fix that, and then I'll be back on the back drilling in the field. Yep. So I'm getting into the spot up towards the house that we didn't get any cut, and you know, the grass was too short anyway to cut, but it was also wet in here. But it's been, like I said, about 6 days since Dad last cut it. So I'm getting a little bit of it. You can see it gets cut over there and right here. Then I get into this wet area, and so I just kind of got to back out of it and then get resituated. But I'm getting more acres, which is nice. And hopefully I just don't gum anything up. And it's nice kind of backing up with the drill back there, because once it starts getting buried, hopefully I'm still on drier ground and I can see it's kind of getting muddy. I'm starting to leave tracks again, so I'll just pull back forward, wait a little bit until I'm out of that mud, and then start dropping it back down. And I got about 1.5 more passes till I'm to the fence. And then I gotta fill in back on the other side of that slough, and then go around the field 3 times, working my way in, and then I should be done with this field. Then I gotta go back to the bunker, and because we got a couple more loads of dirt, and then I'll finish filling that in. So I finished up the long passes, and I'm starting to work on the outside. And I went through kind of a muddy spot, and I want to make sure nothing's gummed up back here. And also I'm gonna check on the boxes and see how much seed I have left, and make sure that I'm not out. Oh, looks pretty good actually. So I'm gonna just move some seed over to that one. You know, I don't know, there's still quite a bit in here. I wish I would have had a little bit higher of a rate, but for the most part it's going pretty good. So I'm just gonna move some seed around and then get back in there, finish up the end rows. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start on the outside and do 3 passes, working my way in. That way I make sure that there's nothing left unplanted. And then back on the other side, there's about 3 or 4 passes worth of land that I gotta cover over there. So I got the headlands around the whole field done, and I've used both of my bags. I just emptied the last one out there, and so all I have left is this, and it's a little bit less than an acre, and my drill is basically completely empty. And so I threw 1 bag in there, and each bag is 50 pounds, and I'm putting down 69 to 70 pounds an acre. And so I thought, well, I should basically empty me all the way out, and then I think we're done with the drill for the rest of the year. And so I'll probably just, if I have any left, I'll probably just drive around, maybe put it in a little bit thicker over here and get that emptied out. All right, so I got this little patch filled in. Right now I'm just making sure that the drill's cleaned out. Then I'll fold up, park it in the shed, and let's see, my dad will be done baling in about an hour, and I'm gonna hop in the Bobcat and I'm gonna go back over to the pit like I was saying and finish up moving dirt over there. Pretty close to being empty. Yeah, it's to the point where it's just gotta bounce around and fall back in. And so I'll just clean that out with the shop vac. I'm glad I put both those bags in. Now I just gotta pull the blocks out. That way the hydraulic cylinder will contract and I can fold the machine in. We got that little piece of ground drilled, and hopefully that makes calving a little bit nicer. And Dad's still baling. We're getting a lot of millet bales baled today. And he's also doing some grass that was finally cut because it was in a kind of a low spot. It's been wet all year. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't. See you later.